Creedish death cults, plane crashes, murder, and housekeeping. Death and darkness seem to be some of Chuck Palahniuk's favorite recurring themes in his novels, including his hit novel Survivor. And no, not the hit CBS TV show. The book begins as the last engine dies out on an airplane 3,000 feet in the air. Tender Branson begins to tell his life story into the black box as the plane plunges towards the ground. Yes, his name is Tender, not Tinder the dating app. The story begins when we find out that Tender is the last surviving member of the Creedish death cult. The Creedish death cult is a religious cult that committed a mass suicide 10 years earlier. He and a few others had already been sent out as house cleaners to work. As the years went on, everyone in the cult began to commit suicide until only a few were left. Tender is a housekeeper and he reports regularly to a federal caseworker from the Survivor Retention Program. Due to a misprint in a newspaper, Tender receives calls from people who think he's a suicide hotline representative. He regularly tells people to go ahead and kill themselves and states that this provides him with a sense of power. He's a bad person. As the book progresses, Tender meets a woman named Fertility. I don't know what to tell you about these names, I don't get it either. And begins to fall in love with her. He later learns that his twin brother Adam is the only other survivor left, and that Adam has been killing all the other survivors and staging them as suicides. This book gave me nightmares. Tender soon becomes a religious celebrity and changes his whole appearance for the media. Fertility claims to have psychic abilities and predicts the future in many scenarios in the book. Just wait, it keeps getting weirder. Tender fears that Adam may be targeting him next when Adam kills his caseworker. Tender's agent sees that his popularity is dwindling and plans for him to predict the winner of the Super Bowl. When Fertility tells Tender the prediction and Tender recites it to the whole stadium, chaos breaks out and Adam kills Tender's agent. Adam, Tender, and Fertility escape and begin to drive towards Canada, a place that many will be fleeing depending on the results of the next election. They get into a car crash which eventually results in Tender beating Adam's face in with a rock. This book is scary, just plain scary. Fertility and Tender escape to an airport where Fertility predicts that her plane will be hijacked, and Tender realizes that he is the hijacker. The book ends mid-sentence as Tender is trying to figure out how he can survive the inevitable crash. This book is dark and twisted, to say the least. It will always keep you on your toes. Chuck Palahniuk focuses mainly on faulted psychology and death to portray the twisted themes of his novels. Survivor demonstrates the lack of mental sanity that Chuck shows in many of his characters. All of the characters in the novel are twisted in some way. This book brings the dark side out of everyone. The dark tone of the book sends the reader into a confusing realization that life is not all sunshine and rainbows.